Misfortune is like cigar ashes. If I get any of it on me, I brush it off, make sure I'm still lit, and inhale. Welcome to Hypocrites and Contradictions. I'm your host, Estell, and today we will be opening minds and changing perspectives through conversation. And I have a special guest with me, the owner of Taylor Smoke in the epicenter in Charlotte, North Carolina, Mr. Preston. Please say hello, sir.
Hello, everybody. What's up, Eddie?
What's going on, brother? We appreciate you having you here. Preston, you do Taylor Smoke at the epicenter, one of my favorite places just to go sit down and smoke. Could you please tell us where you're located and a little bit about your business?
Okay, I'll do that. I appreciate the opportunity to be on with you today, young brother.
Appreciate you as well.
We're located at 210 East Trade Street, which is the epicenter address. We're on the College Street side on the ground floor, nestled right between Black Fan and the valet parking. We're an open air lounge, which means that we're not inside, but we're also protected from the elements on the sides and on the top. In the winter, we keep it warm. In the summer, we keep it fresh.
My man. So if y'all haven't been, please go. It's one of the things that we're doing here on the Hypocrites Contradictions podcast is we're teaming up with the local small business owners in Charlotte, North Carolina area, just getting the word out and letting you hear their story, just in case you're thinking about starting your own business and create a little inspiration for the people. Preston, if you could, how long have you been in business?
I have been in business since November 2015.
Okay.
I started online, and I've had my location at the epicenter since Cinco de Mayo 2016. That was my opening day.
My man. Okay. You've been in business for 3 years, about to be 3 years, online. Your physical presence is just 2 years. How long have you been into cigars? And if you could, just give us a little bit of information on about what a cigar is and what it's meant for.
Okay. Every true cigar smoker remembers that first time. Remember when they lost their cigar virginity.
Yep.
For me, it was back in 1997. I worked, my day job, I'm in corporate America.
Okay.
And at the time, at that point, I was working in a factory for Michelin tires. And as an engineer in the factory, they had a program where they would send you out into the field and let you hang out with the sales force for a week to understand the customer side. It was November, and the weather was terrible in Spartanburg, South Carolina, where I was living. And they sent me to Orlando, Florida for a week. And, it was sunny, it was nice. And one day he dropped me back off at the hotel, and there was a courtyard across the street from the hotel, man. There were people that were playing live music. There were beautiful people walking by, people just having fun. So I walked over, and there was a cigar lounge. Man, I knew nothing about cigars, but it just smelled good, just looked cool. I walked inside, met a young man that explained to me cigars. I didn't even know you had to cut a cigar to smoke it. So he hooked me up with a cigar. I got some nice dark rum, went and sat outside listening to the live music, watching the beautiful people go by, lit it up, and man, I just floated away. And at that moment I said, this is something I gotta do. But also, you got to remember, that was 20-something years ago. I didn't have the funds to be a cigar smoker.
Okay.
So I just kind of filed that feeling away because I knew that one day I would be in a position to enjoy some of the finer things like cigars. And so at that moment is when I decided I'm going to be a premium cigar smoker. All right. So the second part of your question you asked me, just tell you a little bit about cigars. All right, so people, I want to clear up one thing right now. First and foremost, a Black and Mild is not a damn cigar. Let me say that again.
Say it louder for the
Black
people in the
and
back.
Mild is not a damn cigar. All right? So usually when you hear people talking about cigars, and there's a very specific term in the industry called premium cigars. When you hear the term premium cigars, it means that these are hand-rolled cigars.
Okay.
Sometimes it's funny, people come up to me and say, hey, I went to this spot and they had a hand-roller, man. I had a hand-rolled cigar. And I kind of chuckle to myself because I'm thinking, every cigar I smoke Every premium cigar that anybody smokes is a hand-rolled cigar. This cat just happened to do it in front of you,
Right.
but that's the way they're done. A cigar has three basic components. You have your filler, binder, and wrapper. The thing about a cigar is it is a combination, a blend of leaves, whole leaves, that are rolled together in a certain order. So your filler is the center part of your cigar. Your binder is the next layer of the cigar that's rolled on there to hold that together. And then your wrapper is your most important part of the cigar. That's the part of the cigar that you see.
Okay.
All right. And that's where you get most of your flavor from. All right. So you have, I would say, 3-4 primary cigar producing countries. You have Cuba that everybody knows about.
Yep.
However, it's interesting, everybody gets all excited about Cuban cigars, but that's more based on their history than the reality of today. You have the Dominican Republic, you have Honduras, and you have Nicaragua. Today, I would say the best cigars in the world being made in Estell, Nicaragua.
Now, why do you say that?
So, if you go down the Cigar Aficionado top 25 list and you look at the percentage of the cigars that are coming from Estell, Nicaragua, it's always very well represented. Also, a lot of the Cuban families that left Cuba went to Nicaragua. And in Estell, there's a valley that has the perfect condition for growing tobacco. You know, there are really two things. There's really one thing that still makes Cuba special. It's the climate. It's the dirt. You can take a Cuban seed tobacco plant and place it in Nicaragua, but you can't take the sun and you can't take the dirt.
Right.
Nicaragua has very similar and very good climate, very good dirt, very good sun, very good rain to produce very high quality tobacco plants.
Okay. So, based on a little bit of history I do know, or information I do know, I know it's 3 basic type of cigars. Correct me if I'm wrong. You got a Connecticut, you got a Habano, and you got a Maduro. Now, the Maduro is your deep. That's your bold flavor. Is the Habano in the middle?
Yeah.
Okay, so Habano is your mild flavor, and then your Connecticut is the light blend.
Right.
If you could just give us a little bit of info on the differences between those 3.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna step back a little bit and make the categories a bit broader. All right. So when you come to Tailored Smoke, we try to identify your flavor profile, and that's what we call it, the flavor profile. So there are 4 basic categories of cigars. You have an infused cigar. That is it's still a premium hand rolled cigar, but it has some flavor infused into the tobacco. Okay. You have a mild cigar, a medium body cigar, and then a full body cigar. And that's the starting point for our conversation.
Okay.
All right. So Habano and Connecticut, those are types of cigar plants. And the Connecticut tobacco plant, I said cigar plant, those are types of tobacco plants. The Connecticut plant is that most of it is actually grown in Connecticut in the United States, in the Connecticut River Valley.
Okay.
And that particular plant is, as you said, has a very mild flavor. Many times you may hear a shade grown, Connecticut shade grown, like Underground Shade has a Connecticut shade grown wrapper. They cover the plants in cheesecloth as they're being grown, so they're always grown under the shade to keep them mild. The more sun, it gives you the strength. Now, Habano, as you said, is known to be more of a medium body type of wrapper. Maduro is not a type of plant per se. Maduro refers to the the aging process. Maduro in Spanish means ripe, and so the reason those wrappers, those leaves are darker, is because they are cured with more moisture, more heat, almost to the point of fermentation, and so they're. It's not inaccurate to say that those are your stronger cigars. It's not totally inaccurate. What's more accurate to say is those are your more flavorful wrappers, because just like this nice bourbon that we're enjoying, the fermentation process is what makes a difference. So when you get that tobacco leaf on the verge of fermentation, that's when you can do some creative things. So there are some Connecticut Maduros.
Oh, okay.
Right? So the other thing about the tobacco plant is that the leaves on the top of the plant versus the middle of the plant versus the bottom of the plant, also, even if it's the same plant, they have different characteristics. One type of cigar that you may have heard of, a wrapper, is a Ligero. Okay? Ligero refers to the top third of the tobacco plant. It gets the most sun, therefore it has the most nutrients, therefore it's the strongest. All right, so if you ever get a cigar like the triple Ligero LFD, hey, you better get ready to get knocked on your ass, because that's a real cigar, and it's not for the faint at heart.
Okay.
All right, and then you have Seco is the middle part, and then you have Viso, which is the bottom part of the plant. So when a cigar is blended, think about it like this: you have thousands and thousands of permutations and combinations that can make a cigar. You can take one type of plant and take leaves from the top, middle, and bottom and make your binder filler wrapper, right? Or you can have different types of plants, and from different parts of the plant. You can have different types of plants from different parts of the plants from different regions of the world. All of that gives it a different flavor, and the job of the blender is to pick that right combination, put it into a cigar to deliver that flavor profile, that taste, and that feeling, that experience that you're looking for.
Okay. You're taking us to school. Okay, so in regards to tobacco, you got all these things that you're being able to smoke via tobacco. You got your cigar, you got your pipe tobacco, you got cigarettes, and then we got our most hated Black and Mounds. Like, what's the difference between these types of tobacco and what makes this cigar so different from the rest?
Okay, that's a great question. All right, so I stated earlier that a premium hand-rolled cigar is a series of whole leaves or partial leaves, but not chopped up, rolled together to make a cigar. So when you smoke a cigar, you're smoking pure tobacco, okay? With pipe tobacco, it's also pure tobacco, but many pipe tobaccos have things, the tobacco is chopped up. So the actual quality of each tobacco plant, each leaf, does not have to meet the same rigorous standards as a cigar, because with a cigar, you're just smoking the rolled leaves. Right? So pipe tobacco is chopped up. The other thing about pipe tobacco is many times they may add dried fruit, dried cherries, whatever, stuff like that, to make it more aromatic.
Yeah. And
there's certain tobaccos that work for pipe but wouldn't work for a cigar. It'd be too sweet or burn too hot or whatever. All right. Then you've got your machine-made cigars. That's what a Black and Mild is. Okay. So a Black and Mild, and I probably shouldn't be calling brands out on the podcast, but a machine-made cigar is usually quality tobacco.
Seems accurate.
And it's chopped up. And then there is a portion of a tobacco leaf that is rolled in, and the chopped tobacco is stuffed inside.
Okay.
All right. And then you got the cigarette. And it's interesting because a bunch of people ask me, man, how many cigars you smoke? Are you worried about your health? And I say, a cigar is different from a cigarette. And I don't let people smoke cigarettes that Taylor smoke. It's not allowed.
Good.
Cigarettes are made of tobacco that don't have to be nearly as high quality. They are generally genetically altered tobacco plants to create a higher yield. They're chopped up. There's chemicals added. And then they're rolled in paper. You're literally smoking paper when you smoke a cigarette. And you're smoking paper, you're smoking added chemicals, and it's those things, filtered or not, that are hurting people. I'm not going to sit up here and say that there are no dangers to cigars, but when you look at the statistics of cancer rates in cigar smokers only versus cancer rates in cigarette smokers, it's night and day.
Big difference.
It's night and day.
Okay. All right. Now, another difference between the two is from my knowledge, on a cigar, you don't inhale.
Mm-hmm.
And on a cigarette, typically they do.
I don't know how I missed that point. Thank you. But that is a huge, huge point. With a cigar, you draw it into your mouth, you roll the smoke around, and you blow it out. And with a cigarette, you inhale. And people often say, well, if you're not inhaling, what's the use? Those are generally the weed smokers that come by. They want to know, hey, if I ain't inhaling, man, what's up?
Right.
What you want to do? And the thing is, there is a lot of nicotine in natural tobacco. And so when you look at a cigar and the amount of tobacco that you're using at the time you're smoking a cigar, it has a high level of nicotine in it. Nicotine has a very calming attribute. So it's actually enough just by tasting the smoke and blowing it out. It actually is enough to absorb in through the membranes of your mouth to give you that smooth, mellow feeling that you want. That's why, like a Lajero, is very high in nicotine. So if you smoke a triple Lajero cigar, I mean, if you're not used to this, man, you're gonna be high.
It's gonna blow your socks off.
And the other thing I tell people about, if you do inhale a cigar and you just say, man, they don't know what they're talking about, I don't want to inhale it. Those are the people that you run into. Say, man, I smoked a cigar and I was sick as a dog.
Yep.
I was throwing up
Yep.
everywhere and never smoking a cigar again. That's because you were hard-headed and you inhaled it. So that's the big difference.
Okay. Sort of segueing off the cigars. Now, you are, I don't want to call it a small business because you're small now. Future big business.
Right.
But you still work the corporate job.
Right.
So, how and why?
Okay. Well, so I started my family early. I got married when I was 22. Is that right? Yeah, 22. We had a child. And I've been raised, I was always raised as a man to take care of my responsibilities. All right. So I went to Morehouse College and I went to Georgia Tech, graduated with an engineering degree. And when I got married and started my family, I went into corporate America. Because, that's what we were kind of trained to do back in the day. You go to school, get an education, get a good job, right?
Working for 30 years.
Work for 30 years, live after. And, and I'm not opposed to that for some people.
Right.
That is still not bad advice. But I've always been an entrepreneur at heart. Man, even early on, I was selling stuff at the flea market. That was before eBay and all this.
Right.
So, I had a little booth at the flea market selling stuff. Man, I've sold cars. I've done consulting. I've cooked and sold barbecue. I used to be on a competition barbecue team. I've always had a side hustle.
Okay.
Always. It's just who I am. And so, but there are benefits to being associated and employed by a major corporation. I mean, I've got 401k, great insurance. My family and I lived abroad for 4 years, learned to speak a different language. Saw all of Europe that most people here in the U.S. can go visit or maybe read about or maybe see on TV, but we were actually there, lived it for 4 years, learned the culture, learned the language. So I am not one of these guys that says, to hell with corporate America.
Right.
All right? I'm one of these guys that says, to each his own. All right? So for me, I work for Michelin North America. I've had an amazing career with them. I was the first African American to work my way through the ranks to become a factory manager, run my own plant, and that plant is here near Charlotte, Mack Aircraft Tires, and that's what actually brought me back to North Carolina. We were actually living in France. I was working in our worldwide corporate headquarters, and our factory here. They needed my skills to get the plant turned around, and I came here. So I've had a great experience in corporate America. I know that's not everybody's story, but I have. So when I got into the cigar business at Tailored Smoke, my long-term vision, I have a long-term vision of this is my retirement and this is for my legacy. So fortunately, I've got a good lifestyle, right? When you're younger, you're working to have enough money to enjoy a type of lifestyle that you want to enjoy.
Gotcha.
All right? So what is that? That's a nice home, nice cars, the ability to go out when you want to go out, the ability to travel when and where you want to travel. Okay, so I've achieved that. I can go where I want to go and I can do what I want to do. My wife is happy. My kids, I've got one child that she's grown. She's an accountant. She has a great husband, a nice son. So I've got a little grandbaby. She's doing well.
Okay.
I've got 2 others that are in college right now. One at Hampton University, one at Xavier University, and then my son. I just have one left at home. So, I'm getting them established.
Okay.
All right. Now, once they're established, I've got the lifestyle I want. Now, I'm really working to provide a stepping stone for them as they go out.
Okay.
Generational wealth is something we don't really talk about because we don't really understand. And the reason we don't understand it is because we really haven't had the opportunity to participate in it. And we don't even know many people that have.
Right.
So for me, Tailored Smoke is my legacy to pass on to my family. Whether we stay in business as a family after I'm gone or not, the revenue that I generate from Tailored Smoke isn't so that I can have a bigger house. The house is big enough. So I can have nicer cars. I got some nice cars. It's not about that. It's about them being able to have choices after I'm gone. My grandson and the grandchildren that I don't know yet. All of them having something. So I'm going to continue to work in corporate America until it gets to a point where, I don't want to anymore.
Right.
Tailored Smoke is one of the things that's allowing me to have that choice.
Right.
But right now my career is going great. I've got a great staff at Tailored Smoke, so I'm out of the day-to-day operational details, but I still manage it. But I've got a full-time general manager. I've got an assistant manager. I've got 6 other employees there. Mm-hmm. They know what to do. So, man, I'm just enjoying it right now.
Oh, man, dope. That's dope. All right, now, about a week ago, we had, you was dropping some knowledge on me, and we talked about sort of the financial background of us starting our own businesses. Now, you said that one of the reasons why you actually stayed at the corporate America job is because it allowed you to take some of the hits that you take when you are creating a business, right? So for the listeners out there that are wanting to start their own business, sometimes it's better for you to actually keep your corporate job while you're still focusing on your dream, because it allows you to not have to, like you said before, have to worry about your business supporting the family.
Right.
If you could, because I don't want to touch on it, I want you to explain it, sort of what you meant by that. Go into sort of how you having your job helped you establish your business and keep a firm foundation.
Okay. All right. Great. That's a great question. A great point. I have people talk to me frequently about starting a business, and the first piece of advice that I give them is that, hey, if you need the money from the business to support your lifestyle, then you're not ready to start a business. Okay. I can't think of any businesses, not any that I've been involved in, and I've done a lot of stuff. I can't think of any of them that immediately start paying you that you can live off of from the jump.
Right.
Okay. And the one thing about Tailored Smoke, because I don't need the money from Tailored Smoke to pay my bills or to go on trips or to do whatever, all of the revenue goes right back into the business. From I did a comparison May 2016 to December 2016 compared to May 2017 to December 2017. We had 183% growth.
Jeez.
Okay. The reason we were able to experience that 183% growth is because every penny that Tailored Smoke generated went back into Tailored Smoke.
Okay.
I started off with a kiosk at the Epicenter during CIAA. That led into having a location at the Epicenter. And at that location, I started out with, it was really like a china cabinet. It wasn't even a humidor. A china cabinet with about 15 boxes of cigars stacked on top of it. Okay? And then there's a big storage area that's a part of it. I was able to then build that storage area out and make that a true retail space. Today, I've got 2 large humidors, cabinet humidors. I carry about 80 facings, 80 different cigars. I've got many accessories and lighters and cigar cases and this, that, and that. And so we've been able to see that growth. When I started the business, I was only open Thursday through Sunday. Now we're open 7 days a week. I was only open in the evenings. Now we're open all day. I have a nice lunchtime business. But, there come times in a new business where, the business needs money to survive. And if your business needs that money to survive, but you also need that money to survive, and your family needs that money to survive, what you going to do with that money? Right. You're going to put it on you and your family, which is going to cause the business to suffer. I'm not saying that it can't be done, but it just makes it more difficult that way. Right. So remember I said I opened up my location May 2016. All right. And things were growing and doing fairly well. It was just me and one other employee, and we generated enough money for me to pay my rent and pay that employee in the beginning. But what happened September 2016?
Oh, the shooting, the police
shooting. And there was a riot. Where was the riot?
Uptown Charlotte.
Right across the street. I mean, you can sit in Tailored Smoke and look at the intersection where everything happened. So guess what? September, my business was growing and doing strong, and all of a sudden it was stopped dead. For that first week and a half, I couldn't even open. And then when I could start open, I had to be closed by dark. And then when I was able to start opening all the way again, people were still nervous about coming uptown and hanging out. By the time people got comfortable again, it was winter and it was cold, and I've got an open air lounge.
Right.
You know, and although I keep it nicely heated, people didn't know that. So, and at that time I had some additional employees. So for September, October, November, December, January, February, I had to spend money out of my pocket to keep Tailored Smoke afloat. All right? Now, if I was depending on money from Tailored Smoke to run the business and run my lifestyle, the business and my life would have been screwed at that point. All right? So, now, thank God for CIAA. Because the CIAA brought me out of my darkness in 2017. You know, and that was my plan. I was like, man, if I can just make it to CIAA, I know that I'll generate income and we'll pick back up after that. And that's what happened. But for me, in my experience, it has been important with the business to allow the business to invest in itself to grow and not have the business initially have to take care of you and itself.
Okay, we appreciate that. Preston is in here schooling me because a lot of this information I didn't really know about cigars, so I appreciate that. Is there any? Now, I talked with Lamont on my last episode.
Yeah.
We talked a lot about collaboration over competition.
That's my man.
And Lamont is the man. So, are you? Do you partner with anybody? That's my first question. And the second question is you did speak a little bit on CIAA. For the Charlotte listeners, what do you have going on for CIAA?
Okay, all right. So I don't have any partners.
Okay.
For Tailored Smoke, I got into the cigar business kind of by accident, dealing with partners, and very quickly I realized that I had a vision where I wanted to take it, and I needed to have independence to do that. And so I bought everybody out, and so now it's just me. And I have people frequently approach me about partnering. Do I need investors, partners? I'm not going to say that I'm never going to need investors, but I'm never going to need a partner.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So, but I do want to speak on this collaboration over competition because that's very important to me. There are 2 other black-owned cigar lounges in Charlotte. Mm-hmm. You have Cigars, Etc. 2 out on Monroe Road, and you have Secret Society Cigar Lounge up on Moorhead and Wilkinson. Mm-hmm. All right? Now, you might be looking at me like, why the hell is he shouting out his competition on the air?
Because they ain't competition.
It ain't competition.
Right.
There's enough for it to go around, and I wish everybody understood that. I'm good friends with the guy that owns Lake Norman Cigar Company up in Lake Norman. His name's Emilio. All right. What I try to tell people is, look, if you want to go to a spot that has a really nice humidor, a decent bar, it's inside, they have a patio, but it's a little bit outside of the city, down on the south side, then if that's what you're looking for, Tailored Smoke ain't the place for you today.
Right.
But if you want to be uptown in the middle of things where everything is happening, people watching, sitting outside, the weather's nice, the music is good, and you just want to come see me. If you want to go somewhere that has an amazing bar, not far outside of uptown, upscale ambiance, hey, go over to Secret Society. But guess what? Most of us have different moods at different times, and different times we want different things. So I'm okay. What I do, and I practice what I preach. I personally go to Cigars, Etc. and spend my money.
Right.
I own a cigar lounge, but when I go there, I buy cigars.
Right.
I personally go to Secret Society. Okay? When I go there, I buy cigars. I buy drinks. I personally go up to Lake Norman. because one of the things you talk about is confidence. One of the things that I know and that if I realize that if I provide great product, great service, a great experience, then I have nothing to fear.
Yep.
And the other thing I realize is that if all of these different locations are successful and they're providing what they do in their lane and they're doing it well, that grows the number of people that smoke cigars.
Right.
Everybody gets first-time cigar smokers in there. Guess what? When a first-time cigar smoker becomes a regular cigar smoker, that's a new customer for all of us. So instead of fighting over the damn slices of the pie, let's grow the damn pie. If the pie grows, we all eat more.
I'll grow. The tree of life is plentiful.
That's right. But if I'm fighting you over your slice and you fight me over my slice, guess what? The other cigar businesses in the area, they ain't fighting over our pie.
Right.
They want us to fight over our little piece of the pie that they've
eat out for you.
Yeah, that they've cut off for me and put over on the little kids' table. That's what they want us to fight over. That little slice of pie over the kids' table. No, baby, I'm coming for the whole pie, and I want to be in that little pie that you got on the kids' table. You're gonna look up one day, and that damn pie gonna be bigger than yours.
You need an army to fight a war.
Right. But see, unfortunately, not everybody thinks that way.
Right.
So I live my philosophy in that.
We appreciate you, man, because you're a veteran in this. CIAA, you gotta. What's going on with you for CIAA?
Okay, so I've got my normal lounge, CIAA, and I'm going to, of course, have that open. We'll be open longer hours, but every year I do something special for CIAA. So, like I said, I got into the Epicenter the first time by renting a kiosk. They had just started their kiosk program in 2016. Is it 2016? Yeah, 2016. When I say just started, they unloaded the kiosk off the back of the trucks on Wednesday, and I was selling cigars on it on Thursday during CIAA. And what we did last year is we expanded that concept, and I created a tailored smoke VIP lounge in the center courtyard of the Epicenter. All right? And so I had a full bar, had a DJ, I had Sheena from Alpha Male Nail Care. She was doing free manicures. Nikki was doing free massages. My man Sterling was doing free shoe shines and foot massages for the ladies. And we had an admission fee to come into the VIP lounge. Right? So I had couches and bistro tables, DJ. It was really nice. And so this year, and it's still not confirmed, so I don't want to say too much about it. So I'm either going to do that, or that's plan B. Plan A is there is a space that recently came available at the Epicenter. It's a perfect indoor-outdoor space. I'm negotiating right now to have that space for CIAA.
Okay.
It's about 3,000 square feet, has an indoor bar, an outdoor bar, a patio, very centrally located at Epicenter, and that, my brother, will be a game changer.
So stay tuned for that. Some of the people that you did talk about, we talked about at Sterling Shoe Shining on Instagram, Sterling Shoes, Alpha Male Nail Care. You said Nikki? Did she have a...
Well, I don't know her detailed information because she comes through. Sheena from Alpha Male Nail Care kind of coordinates all of those services for me.
Okay.
But Nikki is amazing. She's a barber. She's an amazing masseuse. And I'm sorry, I just don't have her information on the top of my head like I do with shoes.
No worries, but we also talked about Cigars, etc. too, over on Memorial Road. And then we talked about Secret Society, Cigar Lounge. All of you guys, if y'all interested in doing an interview, please give me an email, hypocritesandcontradictions@gmail.com. If you could, Preston, tell everybody your contact information, where they can find you at, and again, where you're located.
Okay, so Preston Gray, My email address is pgray, Gray, at tailoredsmoke.com. I'm on Facebook and Instagram at tailoredsmoke.com. We are located at the Epicenter, 210 East Trade, nestled in between Blackfin and the valet parking on the College Street side on the first floor. So, hey guys, we have a good time. I invite everybody to come out and smoke a great cigar with us. And one of the things we say is when you come to Tailored Smoke, you can hashtag elevate your cigar experience.
My man, elevate your cigar experience. So we leave you again with another amazing podcast. We appreciate you, Preston and Tailored Smoke, for visiting us. Hopefully today we open your mind and change your perspective through a conversation. And I just want to leave you with one thing. It says, the people that make it in life look around for the circumstances that fit them. And if they can't find them, they create them. And that's George Bernard Shaw. So if you're in a situation right now where you're trying to find your way, if it ain't going right, figure out a way to make it happen for yourself. I appreciate you all. If anybody or any small business wishes to do an interview, hypocritesancontradiction@gmail.com. You can find me on Instagram at Eddie_Estell. That's at EDDIE_ESTELL. And we'll see you all next week. Much love. We appreciate you.